Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Namaste. Welcome to the Karnataka music course on Mela classification and Melaragamalika. The content of the course is primarily designed for students with a basic knowledge in Carnatic music and also for students who are interested to know the nuances and understand the raga system of Carnatic music. Singing this composition and also learning this composition offers exposure to all the 72 Melakarta ragas. The Melaragamalika involves seamless transition from one raga to the other. This develops the ability to switch ragas while maintaining the distinct identities, a skill useful in Ragamalika singing and improvisation. The composition emphasizes the appropriate usage of swarasthanas and Gamakas for each raga. The challenge of retaining 72 distinct ragas within a single composition improves mental discipline. Also, familiarity with the Melakarta ragas lays the groundwork for understanding derivative Janya ragas. Most important of all, the Mela raga provides a historical perspective on raga classification systems. Now we will see what is a raga. A raga is a distinct identity given to a melody which consists of a few or many notes or swaras. For example, this is sa re ga. This is sarigama, a group of plain notes without any embellishment. But when I beautify it or I embellish it, so when a group of swaras are embellished and sung with in a very extended way, then that becomes a raga. Or the first one was raga Maya Malavagola. The second one was Ananda Bhairavi. Or that was Bhairavi. So when these swaras are embellished, we get an idea of what is a raga. Now, depending on these raga phrases or depending on these swara phrases, ragas are identified. Let us quickly look into some ragas which are known as Audava ragas, for example. Audava raga is a raga it is a pentatonic scale which has 5 notes. So, if you take Mohanam, for example, or That was Abhogi, which is also an Audava raga. When it is played plain, it is when it is embellished, it becomes a raga. You have what is known as a Shadava raga. That was Sri Ranjani. A Sampurna raga. Or so we're using different types of Gamakas or embellishments to beautify the raga. Now what are these? First one is this is Etra Jaru and this is Yerakka Jaru. So the upward movement is Etra, downward is Yerakka. Okay. Then we have something called the Kampita. When a note is oscillated, it is Kampita. There are different types of Kampita, or the extent of the Kampita is different in different ragas. Or that was Kalyani. The previous one was Kamavardhini or Panturali. Or that was Karharpriya. That was Todi. So depending on the shades of the embellishment, ragas are identified. So if it is a 5-tone or a pentatonic scale, it is known as an Audava raga. If it is 6, it is Shadava raga. And if it is 7, it is Sampurna. Okay, we were looking at the different embellishments or Gamakas. So after Kampita, Jaru and Kampita, we have something known as the Spurita. For example, so what is involved in a Spurita? There is a double note, like so this is known as a Janta Prayoga. Sa, sa, di, re, ga, ga, ma. When there is a double note and the second note has to be stressed, that is known as a Spurita. And a Spurita is usually given to the swaras which move in the ascending order. So when it is in the descending order, it is known as Pratyahata. This can also be achieved as a Gamaka. Or in Karharpriya, for example, so this is the Pratyahata Gamaka and Spurita is in the Arohana Krama. So these are some of the important Gamakas. You have the Kampita, the Jaru, the Spurita and the Pratyahata. And these are used very extensively in all the while executing a composition or while singing the raga, alapana, thanam. For everything, these Gamakas are used prevalently. Now, ragas can be considered self-generating, as one raga can give rise to one or more ragas by adding or removing swaras. Janaka ragas or Melakarta ragas often have many janyas falling under them, which share some common swaras, like in the scale Karharapriya. If the pa is omitted, it becomes Sri Ranjani. And in Abhogi, the Panchama and the Nishada is omitted. So Abhogi is Audava. Sa-di-ga-ma, da-sa, sa-da-ma-ga-da-sa. Sri Ranjani. Sa-di-ga-ma, da-ni-sa, sa-ni-ga-ma-ga-da-sa. Karharapriya. Sa-di-ga-ma-pa-da-ni-sa, sa-ni-ga-pa-ma-ga-da-sa. What is the early history of the raga system? Early history of the raga system began with the grama system and jatis. The history of the raga system extends over two periods, grama murchana jati period and the Mela period. In the early period, reference to the melodic framework comes from Natya Shastra and Dattilam, which describes jatis as melodic entities. Therefore, jati is the predecessor of the raga. Natya Shastra and Dattilam are the earliest source texts for music and dance, and more specifically for all references regarding Natya, which is composite of music, dance and drama. During the period of Bharata, the concept of Grama Murchana Jati system was introduced, and Grama referred to groups of 22 Shrutis known as, and these gramas were known as Shadja Grama and Madhyama Grama and Gandhara Grama, with each consisting of 7 sequential melodic arrangements of 7 swaras known as Murchanas, which were derived in a descending order. For example, if the first Murchana was Sarigama Padani, the next Murchana would be Nisarigama Padha, and the next one will be Dhani Sarigama Pa. So in the Shadja Grama, the first 3 Murchanas, Uttaramandara, Rajani and Uttarayata, if Uttaramandara was Sarigama Padani, Rajani would be Ni Sarigama Padha, and Uttarayata would be Dhani Sarigama Pa. So, Murchanas were the then equivalent scales during the early period, where each Murchana began on a different Grahaswara. Unlike now, all the ragas begin on the Adhara Shadja or the Sa, whereas earlier the Grahaswara was, each Murchana was identified by a different Grahaswara. Jatis, which were melodic entities, were derived from the 2 gramas. As Gamakas and ornamentation developed, they altered the scalar approach of the Murchanas and Jatis. Consequent to the Grama Murchana system, the later period gave way to what was known as the Melas. These Melas grouped ragas by their swara phrases. The present-day classification of ragas began from the later Mela period, where the ragas were classified depending on the swara phrases. Sangeeta Sara, a 16th century work of Vidyaranya, is the earliest known text which classifies ragas under Melas. This work is lost, and the contents of this work is gathered from the references given by Govinda Dikshita in his Sangeeta Sudha. And according to him, Vidyaranya proposes 15 Melas. The earliest available work on Melas is Swaramela Kalanidhi of Ramamatya. This work suggests 20 Melas but later reduces it to 15. It was later in the 17th century that Venkatamaki, in his Chaturdandi Prakashika, proposes 72 possible Melas, but he confirmed that only 19 Melas were existing during his period. Till the 18th century, Venkatamaki's proposition was not accepted. In Raga Lakshanamu of Shahaji, there is no mention of Chaturdandi Prakashika. It is in Raga Lakshanamu of Muddu Venkatamaki, who is a descendant of Venkatamaki, that the 72 Melas of Chaturdandi Prakashika are found, which are known as Raganga Ragas, conforming to the Kadapayadi Sutra or Kadapayadi formula. Some Raganga Ragas were renamed, like Bhinna Shadjam became Dhuni Bhinna Shadjam. The Sangraha Chudamani of Govinda introduced the concept of Melakarta. A Melakarta Raga was a Janya Raga whose name was assigned to a Mela, and it was mandatory for the Melakarta to be Sampurna, comprising of all 7 swaras. This concept of Melakarta allowed a structured organization of ragas within a Mela. The Melaragamalika that we are going to learn in the forthcoming modules is based on this particular classification. The Melaragamalika is a composition in Sanskrita by Mahavaidyanath Shivan. It has 74 lines of Sahitya. The first 2 lines composed in Sri Raga, which is the introductory passage. The remaining 72 lines are composed in the 72 Melaragas. In the composition, 1 line of Sahitya spreads over 2 avartas of Aditala, the 8-beat cycle. After the introductory passage, each Melaraga has 2 avartas of Sahitya and 2 avartas of Chittaswara. The first avarta of Chittaswara is composed by Mahavaidyanath Shivan, and the second avarta is composed by Ramaswamy Shivan. The latter half of the second avarta introduces the next Melaraga. Looking at the Sahitya of the composition, we come to know about the composer's proficiency in Vedic texts. The objective is primarily to learn to perform this composition and to understand how these Melaragas have been handled. The 72 Melaragas are divided into 2 halves, where the Madhyama is the dividing factor. The first 36 are Shuddha Madhyama Melaragas, and the second 36 are Pratimadhyama Melaragas. Each of these 36 Melaragas are divided into 6 groups or chakras, and 6 Melaragas are assigned under each chakra. Within a chakra, the Rishabha Gandhara variety remains consistent, and the Dhaivata Nishada variety changes from one Melaraga to the next. Okay, now I will be taking up the Melaragas, the 72 Melaragas, and show you how each Melaraga has to be approached. First, one has to understand in the Shuddha Madhyama Melaragas, we will first take Todi, next we will take Maya Malava Gaula, then Karhara Priya and Shankarabharanam. Now, why these 4 Melaragas? Because these 4 Melaragas have equal tetrachords. For example, if you take Todi, the distance between the notes Sarigama is the same as the distance between Padhanisa. Like Sari is the next fret, then Ga is 2 frets away, and Ma is again 2 frets away. Now, why am I playing everything on the Veena? Because Veena is a Pradarshana instrument where you can visually see what is happening, or you can visually see the distances between the notes. And then what is happening between the notes can also be visually seen. So that is why I am trying to play every phrase on the Veena. So if you take Todi, it has to be embellished. So how will we embellish Todi? Now, whatever we did to Sarigama, we can do the same action on Padhanisa. So when Sa, you have Sa. When Sa is oscillated, it is Re. Now, how is the Ga oscillated? It has to begin all the way from the oscillating Re. We have to take the, and that Ga is again deflected on the Chatushruti Rishabha fret. Ma is plain. Similarly, when Pa is oscillated, it is Dha. In the Avarohana, the Dhaivata is played plain on the fret. It is not oscillated on the Panchama. So this is Todi. Now, the next raga is Maya Malavagaula. The Sa and Re are similar. So Todi had Sadharana Gandhara and Maya Malavagaula has Antara Gandhara. So it is Sa. The next raga we will take up is Karhara Priya with Chatushruti Rishabha and Sadharana Gandhara. Or Sa Ni Dha Pa, or Sa Ni Dha Pa Ma Ga Re Sa, or Ma Ga Re Sa. So in the Avarohana, the Nidha has two ways of interpretation. So this was Karhara Priya. The next one is Shankarabharanam. Or so in the Avarohana, as we see, there are multiple ways of playing the same raga. So these four ragas are very crucial to understand the Gamakas of the Shuddha Madhyama Mela ragas. And also, we have not yet touched the Vivadi ragas. These four ragas are not Vivadi. That is, they do not have the Vivadi swaras. Now, what are the Vivadi swaras? We have Sa, Re, Ga, Ma. The Shuddha Rishabha and the Shuddha Gandhara combination is Vivadi. Similarly, Shashruti Rishabha and Antara Gandhara is a Vivadi combination. So, or Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Sa, Re, Ga, Ma. These two combinations are Vivadi. Similarly, in the Padhanisa, it is the Shuddha Dhaivata and Shuddha Nishada combination is Vivadi. Similarly, Shatruti Dhaivata and Kakali Nishada is a Vivadi combination. I will just show you how these four scales, that is Todi, Maya Malavagaula, Karhara Priya and Shankarabharanam, should be practiced first. So I am setting the metronome at 65 BPM. Next one is Mayamalavula. So this has to be played with a metronome to understand or to fit the gamaka along with the rhythm or with the tala. We will get the gamaka precision only if you practice these swaras with tala. Okay, the next scale is Karhara Priya. So after that, what we have to do is we go to Shankarabharanam. Okay. Now, this is about the 4 different combinations of Rishabha Gandhara we have covered in these 4 Mela ragas. Now we can move to one chakra at a time. Now I will show you how to exercise all the swara combinations, the Rishabha Gandhara swara combinations and the Daivata Nishada swara combinations. To understand the swara positions, please set the metronome to 65 BPM and I will start from Kanakangi, which is Shuddha Rishabha and Shuddha Gandhara. Next is Kanakangi, which is the Daivata Nishada is changing. You have Shuddha Daivata and Kaisiki Nishada. So it is Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Da Ni Sa Sa Ni Da Pa Ma Ga Re Sa. So when the Kaisiki Nishada comes, you can add a little bit of Kampita there. So it will become Pa Da or as soon as there is a distance between the note has been introduced, like between the Nishada, Daivata and Nishada, there is one fret space, immediately you can start embellishing more. So it is or so you have n number of ways of embellishing the swaras. So this is Kanakangi, Ratnangi. Next is Ganamurti. A little bit of embellishment here at the Shuddha Gandhara is possible. Sa re ga ma or sa re ga ma. So invariably in a Vivadi raga, the Vivadi note will have it will be an elongated note so that you can glide or execute the Jaru Gamaka there, move between the next note. Because you cannot have a Kampita. Even if you have a Kampita, you can only have a Sthana Kampita, like or so sa re ga ma pa da re sa re ga ma ga re sa or ma ga re sa. So these are the possibilities for Ganamurti. Next is Vanaspati, where it is Chatushruti Devata and Kaisiki Nishada. So this is Vanaspati. Next is Manavati. This is Manavati, and the last in that chakra is Tanarupi, which has Shatshruti Dhaivata and Kakali Nishada. Sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa ni da pa or sa ni da pa. So it's Vivadi both in the Purvanga and the Uttaranga. So now this can be converted into an exercise where we combine both the Rishabhagandhara varieties in the Purvanga and in the Uttaranga. For example, sa re ga ma, 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 sa re ga ma. 6 varieties of Rishabhagandhara. Similarly, 6 varieties of Dhaivata Nishada. Pa dha ni sa, 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 pa dha ni sa. So this actually completes the different combinations of the 36 Shuddha Madhyama Mela ragas. Now, these can also be played with embellishment or with Gamaka. Even that can be incorporated into the practice. Like sa re ga ma, 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 sa re ga ma. So again, sa re Uttaranga, it is pa dha ni sa pa dha ni sa, or pa dha ni sa pa dha ni sa pa dha ni sa pa dha ni sa pa dha ni sa. So this is how, with different combinations of Rishabha Gandhara, that you can embellish and make it sound like a raga. So now all the combinations in the Shuddha Madhyama ragas have been covered in these 36, first 36 Mela ragas. Now what happens when the Pratimadhyama is introduced? As soon as the Pratimadhyama is introduced, because there is a gap between the Gandhara and the Madhyama, the gap has, the distance has increased between the Gandhara and the Madhyama, the complete color of the Pratimadhyama ragas change. So let us first take the equivalent of Todi, which is Bhavapriya, in the Pratimadhyama Mela raga. No, we'll play Bhavapriya. So there is a jaru between the Pratimadhyama and the Sadharana Gandhara. So sa re sa re ga ma sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa sa ni da pa ga re sa, or sa. What happens to the counterpart of Maya Malavagola, which is Pantuvarali or Kamavardhini? In the Melaragamalika, it is called Kamavardhini. Pantuvarali specifically means Shava Pantuvarali with a Sadharana Gandhara. Okay, we will take Kamavardhini. So, the Rishabha, there is a Sthana Kampita for Gandhara and Madhyama. The Re is deflected in Sa, and when Sa is oscillated, it is Re. When Pa is oscillated, it is Dha. The next is counterpart of Kararapriya is Hemavati. And the counterpart of Shankarabharanam is Mechakalyani. So again, we will play this like an exercise where we incorporate the Rishabha Gandhara varieties in the Purvanga and the Dhaivata Nishada varieties in the Uttaranga for the Pratimadhyama Mela ragas. Now we'll be seeing some exercises for the Pratimadhyama Mela ragas, where the Rishabha Gandhara, when combining with Pratimadhyama, is dealt differently. So sa re ga ma sa re. So in the Pratimadhyama Mela ragas, now we are going to see how the different combinations of Rishabha Gandhara, when they combine with the Pratimadhyama, what is happening. Sa re ga ma sa re ga ma sa re ga ma sa re ga ma sa re. Now we are going to see how the flavor of the Rishabha Gandhara changes when the Pratimadhyama is introduced. Sa re ga ma sa re ga ma sa re Now we are going to see how the flavor of the Rishabha Gandhara changes because of the introduction of Pratimadhyama. So if we see the change in the Purvanga, it is enough. The Uttaranga will remain the same as it was handled in the Shuddha Madhyama Melas. So, sa re ga ma sa re. So, once again, sa re ga ma sa re ga ma sa re ga ma sa re ga ma sa re ga. Once again, sa re ga ma 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 sa re. So when you practice with the metronome, the Gamaka is practiced, the precision of the Gamakas will be perfect according to the Kala Pramana of the composition. So you please keep the metronome at 65 BPM and do the following exercises. I will just do a small recap once again for Shuddha Madhyama and for Pratimadhyama. Once again, sa re ga ma sa re ga ma sa re ga ma sa re sa re ga ma sa re ga ma. And what happens to Pratimadhima? It is sa re ga ma 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 sa re ga ma. Once again. Sa re ga ma sa re. So, as suggested, the exercises should be practiced well before you start learning the composition. And as mentioned earlier, the purpose of learning this composition, it develops the ability to switch ragas while maintaining their distinct identity, a skill useful for Ragamalika singing and for improvisation, for understanding the Gamakas between the notes. When the distances between the Rishabha Gandhara defines what Gamaka has to be applied. So that will give you experience when even a new raga is given to you, a new scale is given to you, you can sing the raga, because by then you would understand how to handle the different spaces between the notes. Then the composition emphasizes the appropriate usage of swarasthanas and gamakas for each raga. The challenge of retaining 72 distinct ragas within a single composition improves your mental discipline and concentration. So, this is a very good exercise to understand the intricacies of Carnatic music.